everybody, welcome to episode 6 of GolfNewsRI, the podcast. I'm Joe Calabro. You can see the other previous 5 episodes on golfnewsri.com, or if you're really adventurous, search YouTube. We've had Lee Kang, Megan Kang's father. We've had Larry LaFauci. We've had, who am I missing? Who am I missing? That's embarrassing.
Restart.
No. So we had a bunch of guests, so check those out on golfnewsri.com. And trying to get guests here every week, so we're off to a decent start. Joined today by my guy, Michael Edwards of Shore Golf Performance. He came all the way to Kirkbride to hang out with me, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
I'm all dressed up. I have a big lunch to go to today. But anyway, he's here. We're here talking everything golf. Shore Golf Performance is, first of all, thank you for continuing to support GolfNewsRI, of course. But just talk about kind of your business. You're growing leaps and bounds. You've sent a number of top players that you're working with.
Yeah.
Talk about where Shore Golf Performance is kind of today.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. So I'm 18 months into practice. Again, moved here from North Carolina, not knowing anybody, moving to a whole new different region of the country, starting a practice, and to be 18 months in, to be where I'm at, very blessed. Start to have built a lot of relationships. A lot of solid relationships within the Kirkbride community, actually. So yeah, I mean, things were steady. Actually in a better position this winter than I was last winter. So the schedule's pretty close to full, and so to be close to full in the wintertime is actually is pretty good. So not even in golf season yet, and things are busy, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's I know you're working with a lot of guys. Just talk about it's always fascinating, right? What we did a little bit of a series on a couple years ago. Perhaps we have another one coming, which we're here to talk about later. But talk about what you're seeing from these guys kind of in the off season, what kind of work they want to put in, what kind of work do you want them to put in? Because it's interesting, right? It's different, obviously, for everybody. But what kind of things are these guys doing that maybe we can be doing?
Yeah.
And it's kind of some things along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, if you've obviously you've been following me along and supporting me, but for your viewers who've been following me along, I preach a lot of just understanding, actually looking under the hood and seeing what you're actually working with within the body. And what I mean by that is understanding what are your underlying physical limitations and moving patterns that dictate why you move and swing the way you do. And until you understand that, nothing really matters. I mean, yes, there's a time and place for lessons and new clubs, whatever it may be. That's all a variable that goes into the whole process. But if you don't have the right hip inside rotation or the trail hip inside rotation, I know you're not going to load into your trail hip, which then is going to dictate everything else that comes in the downswing. I mean, the golf swing, everything is a byproduct of the position before. And so if you're out of position from the get-go, then I know you're going to compensate and nothing else really matters to a certain extent. So the biggest thing, the off season, I've said it before, the off season is the most important time to work on the game, especially in New England, because you're forced to have off season in a sense. I mean, right, with the rise of indoor facilities, still doesn't change. You still got to work on the body. You're still not able to play as much golf as you want to, as you do in the spring and the summer here in New England. And so just to be able to have the off season where you can kind of force yourself to work on the body. And it's one thing to work on the body. It's a whole other ball game to actually know what you need to work on and what you need to do to address actually the specificity of what needs to be done, which is where I come in. And so I mean, that's where with the players I'm working with right now, we're pouring a lot into the body to get their bodies ready for the RIGA this year and just any other tournaments they get upcoming.
Charlie Blanchard was the other person I interviewed. He was episode 4.
Yeah, Charlie. That's right, Charlie.
Brian Golf Course. So yeah. I looked it up.
Love Charlie.
That was embarrassing. That was going to haunt me the rest of the day. So anyway, you can check all those episodes out on golfnewsri.com. Great interviews, as this will be. This is the physical therapy and kind of performance business that you're in. It's so interesting because everyone's got their own niche and different things that they do.
Yep.
What have you seen since you've been in it and now to where you are? What have you seen from a business wise? Technology obviously is changing everything. You hinted at the indoor places. We did a big write up on those at the end of last year. But what have you seen from that perspective that is helping or maybe hurting?
I mean, like tech. Well, I mean, from my standpoint,
I don't know if it's hurting.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not hurting
yeah,
your business.
not hurting. It enhances and enables. Numbers don't lie. I compare like I look at myself as like the TrackMan. So TrackMan has the shot optimizer feature. So I look at myself as almost like the TrackMan shot optimizer for the human body. And right, TrackMan gives those data points, and those data points. It's great to have that data, but it's another thing. Do you know how to analyze and analyze that data to to make the next shot better or tweak this, whatever it may be. Well, same thing in my world is what's the data? So I have, okay, what's your internal rotation? What's your T-spine rotation? Whatever it may be, like being able to take that data and apply it to your swing. I mean, that's everything. But then furthermore is to have the access to the technology, the TrackMan, the V1 Sports, to be able to put you up on a screen and say, okay, well, look, you don't have, for the right-handed golfer, you don't have the internal rotation mobility or the stability. So in this first move, this is how you move, and then go top of the swing. This is how you move. So you're not loading into that hip, and to be able to show them on the through the technology, right? Put them on the screen and show them how they're moving, and then compare, like connect the dots to, okay, well, because of this, this is why you're coming over the top. This is why your path is say -4 and you're hitting the pull draws, right? And so that's where the TrackMan numbers come in and help, right? But again, it's nice to have the numbers, but it means nothing if you don't know the why behind why you're getting those numbers. And so that's the beauty of having the technology, right? So it's you gotta know the why, but the technology just enables that. So they go hand in hand for sure.
And if people want to get in touch with you, they can just email you or show up.
Yeah, they can shoot me email, michael@shoregolfperformance.com, just reach out to me on Instagram. Send me a DM, send me a message, and follow me and enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey.
All right, we're gonna play golf this year.
We'll
You're
play
gonna
some
try to
golf
play
for
some more?
sure. Yeah, play a lot more golf this year. That was a goal for me for 2024 is to get out, play a lot more. Just trying to grow the business wasn't necessarily a huge priority last year. I played more last year than I did back in North Carolina the previous year. But yeah, definitely a big priority this year.
When you play, like, and I've played with you, so I know you're a stud.
I mean,
But
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. For how much I play, I'm okay. But it's like anything else in life, right? You gotta put the reps in to get better. And so I've been putting some reps in the off season. But I mean, I can hold my own, but I'm not where I want to be.
did you guys ever play that football? You play in
No,
the state
no,
football? It
no.
never
They
happened.
rescheduled it, and
It never happened. That's what I thought.
never gave us a date. They did reschedule it last minute.
Yeah.
But I had a scheduling conflict, so I couldn't do it, unfortunately.
One big thing you did, or you got into last year, maybe toward the end of last year, was you got yourself a little tent at
Yeah.
these state events. I mean, I know we've talked about it, maybe on a podcast, but just between ourselves, how big that was and how you're able to now meet so many different people and work with all these different players.
Yeah.
Obviously, we work with a handful of them, but how beneficial has that been?
Yeah, it was
To you?
huge. I mean,
In other terms as well, not just state terms. You were at some other I don't know, charity events,
yeah, yeah.
but
Those are
the state events are
the
obviously
yeah,
state events are the big
that
ones
is
for
the
sure.
event.
Yeah.
And so I mean, big shout out to Larry LaFauci, one of my clients and players. He connected me with Bob Ward, the RIGA, and I've been trying to get in with them for a little while, and just I always say life's about relationships, right? It just takes time to form those relationships, but Larry was a big impetus in getting me into there, and just being able to it's one thing to have the tent there and just treat the players, but what I love about being in those environments is just having conversations with people, and just being a resource for them and just being in that competitive atmosphere, it brings me back to the days of when I was inside the locker room with some Corn Ferry Tour events, and it's just kind of a different mindset. And you're working with what I call the serious player, and what I mean by serious is no matter.
Not me.
Yeah, well, no, that's not true. And a lot of people think serious players like your plus handicapper, your single digit handicapper. In my world, a serious player is anybody who truly is serious about wanting to get better, right? And if you have that's like the first criteria of wanting to work with me, right? If you don't have that mentality, then I don't want to work with you.
Right.
And if we're not to see the results, but so like being able to get into the Rhode Island Mid-Am and then going into this year and having a presence again there and some other say elevated events, it's huge because I'm here for the long haul. I want to serve the Rhode Island and the New England golf community. And it's just things like this, moments like this that allow me to interact with the community more and just let people know like what I do and how I can help.
Speaking of the Corn Ferry Tour, we have Davis Chatfield and Patrick Welsh playing on the Corn Ferry Tour. They tee off today in Columbia, and this is the third Corn Ferry Tour event, or fourth Corn Ferry Tour event, excuse me, of the season. It's gonna be another fun year following those guys. Davis had a great finish 2 weeks ago, missed the cut last week, and Patrick hasn't made a cut yet this season. As I tell people, it's not easy.
No, it's not.
I mean, these guys are going low. These guys go so low every round, especially that first round. I mean, Davis is like it would be like 2 or 3 under, and he's 6 shots off the lead.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'll just go back to the bar now.
Yeah. It's a different world. I mean, it's
And you were just at Torrey, so you saw some of those guys,
yeah,
not those guys, but
yeah. Well, I mean, it's
the
again,
difference.
yeah,
It's not
different
easy.
world. I mean, it's one stroke here, there, one swing fault, one like just if you're off just a little bit, it can cost you thousands, thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And it's just that's their career. But also, again, it goes back to perspective, right? These guys, yeah, it's a super competitive environment. And people always talk about, well, why am I they come in like 2 or 3 say lessons in or sessions in, like why am I getting better? I'm like, listen, it's all perspective, right? These guys that do it for a living and their livelihood depends upon this. They
They
struggle.
hit hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah,
balls.
they struggle, but it's also it's their profession, it's their career. They do it every day, right? They're invested in their body. They're doing what they have to do to prepare their body for those events. But yeah, no, I was just in San Diego at the at Torrey and got the opportunity to follow a player that I treated in the past, Taylor Pendrith. He's just been a big supporter of me. And I met him back in North Carolina when he came through for a Corn Ferry Tour event in Raleigh, and treated him for a couple of years, and just follow him for the entire round. It's pretty cool. I mean, Torrey in itself was beautiful. That's my first time out there. I mean, the course speaks for itself. It's so beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful off the
I
Pacific Ocean.
I played it. I played Torrey Pines, the South Course, the year after Tiger won the U.S. Open
Oh wow!
on
Yeah,
a broken leg. We went out on a golf trip, and it was pretty. I mean, it was amazing, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize the fog kind of. I don't think it's called after the fog, but you don't realize how much it blocks some of the views early in the morning. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah,
then it lifts.
yeah.
But yeah, it was very cool. I think I shot like 92 or 3.
Hey,
Not from the way back tees, of course, but
it's not bad. I mean, the rough there was, especially for that weekend, it was pretty thick.
Yeah.
But that's how every course is. Those guys, they're not hitting fairways. It's you gotta either hack it out or you gotta. I mean, it's test the skills for sure, which they can do.
Absolutely. So what are your goals now for 2024? It's early February, not even Super Bowl yet. What are your kind of thoughts and plans for 2024? Obviously, increase your client list. That's a given. But what kind of big things is Shore Golf Performance looking to do?
Yeah. My I just want to further tap into my mission as providing premium world-class care for the golfer. I want to be known as the go-to guy for treating the golfer, and that's that's my passion. That's my bread and butter. Treating the client or treating the golfer is that's where my nerd side comes out. So the goal is just to further get immersed within the Rhode Island, Southern New England, or Southern Mass area in the golfing community, and just being a resource any way I can, and further getting connected and immersed within the RIGA, and just tapping into those players. I mean, I've met so many people at the Rhode Island Mid-Am that and I look forward to kind of reconnecting with as the golf season ramps back up. But it's just, what I love is, I think the biggest thing is obviously getting more clients, but having more conversations with people and just making them realize, look, it's so, I see it all the time. Like when I have conversations with people initially, like, and having those aha moments. And like I had a call yesterday with a potential client, and it's like, they're sitting here talking about they've been dealing with low back pain for about a year now, and they've been getting it treated, and they're still dealing with the same pain. And it's like, I'm a golf dude, so like I'm sitting here telling him, okay, this is why you're having pain. Like you shouldn't still be having pain. You've been treating for about the last year, and so it's like kind of connecting those dots and having that just an understanding of the golf swing, and having those conversations with people and like making them aware of, aha, this is okay. Now this is why I'm in low back pain. It's because I'm not turning, or whatever it may be, right? There's many variables that play a role in that, but Just looking forward to having some more just genuine conversations and building more relationships and just further digging my roots here in Rhode Island.
It's a big year in Rhode Island golf in 2024. We have the U.S. Senior Open coming to Newport.
Yeah.
There's two, at least as of now, there's two big qualifiers here. There's a U.S. Open qualifier here at Kirkbride, which is always an awesome time to watch. Not maybe not to play, it's not much fun, but to watch it is.
Yeah.
And then there's a U.S. Mid-Am qualifier at Agawam Hunt. Plus, obviously, our own state tournaments, Northeast Amateur and the Raleigh Amateur.
Yep.
So it's a big year, especially with the. I mean, I'm pumped for the Senior Open. I think that's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's gonna be cool.
speaking of Charlie, I think I was talking with Charlie yesterday in the
And he's gonna try to qualify.
in the academy. Yeah, he's gonna try to qualify, and his story is, I mean, again, like I'm 2 years here in Rhode Island, so I don't know like all the backstories of everybody's history. And obviously, I know Charlie as a player, and I know his background a little bit. And had coffee with him the other morning. He was telling me about like last year when he tried to qualify and he had to leave for just a family thing, but like he actually didn't think he was gonna make it. And then next thing you know, he's in a playoff and he couldn't go back and play because he wasn't there. But so he was so it'd be good, it'd be cool. I mean, I'm rooting for Charlie a lot. I think it'd be cool to have him in Rhode Island at Newport. I mean, he knows the course and the support's there. So if he can just get to that point, it'd be so cool to be able to go watch him play.
Well, Bernhard Langer's not going to play because he just tore his Achilles. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, they announced it. I mean, there's no who the hell knows really, but
Yeah.
I mean, he's tore his Achilles practicing, so he should go to Shore Golf Performance and physical therapy
Right.
to get that fixed. So
Right.
what I'm saying is that could be a spot for Charlie, man.
Yeah.
To fill in for Bernhard.
Yeah.
So no, that's going to be an amazing time. So obviously everyone's looking forward to that. I think we have a GolfNewsRI survey up, and one of the questions is how excited are you for the U.S. Senior Open? And pretty much everyone's answer is like between the 8 and 9,
Yeah.
8 and 9 range. I think people are pretty pumped. It's going to be huge tourism boost, obviously for the state.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm hoping to get media credentials for it and then go for free. So, so that'll be cool. But yeah, it's a huge year in Rhode Island golf for sure.
I was actually trying to get in to provide some treatment. I was talking with my buddy, he's a chiropractor actually out in San Diego or California. He's actually the medical guy for John Rahm. And he was like trying to put me in touch with somebody who kind of controls, I guess, the Northeast region or New England region for like having like kind of the medical trailer. Because the PGA or the senior tour, they have the same access as the PGA tour. So they have a medical trailer. So they already have people that are basically they travel with them to every tournament. So it's a little harder to get into those places unless you kind of know somebody or say that they need extra help. So stay tuned. Short Golf Performance might be behind the scenes, maybe trying to help some of the players. That's the goal, that's the plan. But we'll see.
That'd be huge. I mean, the Riga. I mean, I don't know who controls what's the USGA thing, but I mean, the Riga is. They might be able to help. They might be able
potentially
to help too.
Potentially.
So I know they already told me about if I have any problems getting media credentials to let them know. Which
okay.
I don't imagine I should have any.
No, I
don't think I have any issues. But they just said just if you have an issue for some reason, just because they said they control the kind of the media credentials at least locally. So
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that'd be huge.
Yeah, it'll be huge.
You should buy yourself one of those big trailers though. That's a lot of money.
Oh no, I'll be back up for them. I'll be back up. I'll just be I'll be a resource any way I can. But yeah, just I mean, just being in that environment alone, like kind of behind inside the ropes essentially, and just I mean that environment's everything. Like that's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's nothing like being at a professional golf tournament and being like involved in some
yeah.
Whether you're covering it like me or working with the players like you do or whatever else.
Yeah, it's fun.
You realize how really great these guys are because they almost never make mistakes. It doesn't seem like they make mistakes.
But then you start working with them and you see, I mean, they're humans too, right? They got their own issues. They got low back pain. They got, whatever it may be. They got their own issues and they've been managing these things for years and years and years. And it's also them like too is the fun, the cool stuff is in the past of when I'm educating these players and these tour players and they're not even aware of certain things. I'm like, so they have their aha moments. And so it's like, it's cool.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll have a bunch of Rhode Islanders playing. I know, Brett Quigley's already in the tournament. I know, I think Billy should be in the tournament, but he had to qualify as of last year. And then Dave Adamonis, or yeah, excuse me, Brad Adamonis, not
Mhm.
Dave. Brad Adamonis is going to try to qualify. Charlie Blanchard is going to try to qualify. There's a local qualifier at Franklin Country Club,
Yeah.
which we reported on the other day. It's the only qualifier in New England, amazingly, for that tournament. I know a couple other guys are going to try to go out for it. So, those qualifiers are a lot of fun. I talk about it on Facebook all the time. I encourage anybody to come out and watch one of these
Yeah.
qualifiers because,
Yeah.
I mean, in the morning it's kind of slow, right? Because like for the Kirkbride one, the U.S. Open one here, I'll be here all morning, all day, all morning through the evening, and the morning's kind of like slow, it's kind of blah.
Yeah. I mean,
But once the afternoon hits and that final wave is,
yeah.
and the scores, you can see you can see kind of the cut line and what these guys need to do. And then there's always a playoff of some sort. So it's actually pretty entertaining to watch. So for anybody
Yeah.
that wants to go see guys trying to do something magical, go to one of those qualifiers.
Yeah.
You won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm
I
telling
think,
you.
one thing that, again, like, unless you're like us, kind of like the golf junkie, but like a lot of people could care less about going and watch somebody
Of course.
qualify or
That's why I'm trying
around.
to bring attention.
Yeah,
Bring
so, but
attention
it's
to
but
it.
it's like for the people who appreciate it, it's like what I think about when I go watch the players is one, just watch their emotions, watch how they handle like
Pressure moment.
how they handle the moment, just like how they're conversing, say if they have a caddy, how they're conversing with the caddy, and just watch how they manage the course and manage their emotions in the process. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to watch if you're that tuned into say
Yeah.
what they're doing.
I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I've learned just doing this. GolfNewsRI, because I've told the story a million times. But when I first launched this, when I first had the idea to launch this, I was like, well, what the hell am I gonna do for content? Like how much content can there really be? But
Yeah.
I didn't know there was like I legitimately had no idea there were like Monday qualifiers and
Yeah.
qualifiers for this and that. Like
Yeah.
who knew?
Yeah.
But I knew there was like a Q school. I knew about Q school a little bit, but I didn't know what the intricate details of it.
Yeah.
But now I like follow it and I pay attention
There's
to
plenty
the
of content.
numbers and we have not had a content issue
Yeah. And
by,
like
by any stretch.
when I moved
But it's been
here,
fascinating to learn because I'm learning too. Like I had to learn Chatfield and Welch are in Q school or Chatfield was in Q school and like I'm a swore. I'm sitting there like on the couch like studying like Q school stuff to
Yeah.
understand like okay, this is
Yeah.
what he needs to do. This hurts him, this doesn't hurt him.
Yeah.
Those like
And I remember
the
asking you.
matrix. And I'm like, oh my God, who knew this was like
Yeah, I remember asking you like when they were going through all the Q school stuff. I was like, tell me because you were just going through it studying yourself. I was like, tell me a little bit more about the Q school, and you're telling me because it's a whole nother world.
oh, it's
Like
intense.
yeah, so that's a whole nother world in itself. But, I mean, it's the same thing when I moved here. People like you're moving to New England and you're opening a golf niche practice. And they're like, are you crazy? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll make it work. But when I got here, it's like golf's booming. Like and
Oh, golf's a big deal.
yeah, golf's huge, and it's all perspective, right? It's like, yeah, you don't get to play as much as you do in North Carolina or down the South,
Right.
but I mean, in the day, it's like what 2.5 months maybe you don't get to play golf here. I mean, just I think long term, I feel like with weather patterns changing, and I feel
Yeah.
like New England's gonna be the place to be. I mean,
I
like,
mean, people play through November
yeah, it's all. I
if you
mean,
really want to. I don't personally,
yeah,
but
it's all.
if you
It's
really
all.
want
I mean,
to.
heck, at Cranston,
And then March is coming up. Every year for the last 4 or 5 years, I played at least one round in March.
yeah.
So
So,
I don't know what that
so,
means, but
yeah,
it
so, I mean,
shows you
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And I don't play if it's 40 degrees either, so that means it's been decent out.
yeah. There's some players at Cranston like this week they're playing. I'm just like below. It's like in the 30s. And y'all are crazy.
It's gonna be like 60 tomorrow.
Yeah, y'all are
Like
crazy.
60,
Y'all
60
can,
this weekend.
you can have that. I
Yeah,
know
that's
that
not.
I want no part of 30-degree golf weather.
No, that's not my thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, thank
Uh, no, I need it to be nice and toasty.
you. Yeah,
Um, 50. I would say 55 probably is my
yeah,
because then at least it's like
I mean, I can play in the 50s. I mean, I can play in I can if I have to. I'll play in the 40s. But like,
if you have to, of course, obviously.
yeah.
If you're in a tournament or something, obviously that's different.
Well, yeah.
But I'm just
Which
talking
is
about just going
just
to
to go
play.
selectively play,
Yeah.
and sub sub
Yeah.
50. Yeah,
I will say hand warmers help.
yeah, yeah. I mean, anything.
We've had a turkey shootout here in November every year for at least the last couple of years. And I would go to Dick's and get hand warmers
Yeah.
and just put them in your pockets. And then in between shots, you just hold
Yeah,
it actually helps a little bit as far as feeling in your hands because
For
that's
sure.
obviously
or
kind of
get
important.
get some mitts.
So
get
it
some
does
warm.
actually help. I know you have a big call coming up. at 10, and then we're continuing our business discussions. Super Bowl weekend, Chiefs, 49ers. I'm rooting for the Chiefs because happy wife, happy life. As
Let me
you
guess.
know.
Let me guess. Taylor Swift's involved
No, no,
on that
no,
decision.
no, no.
She's a
My wife's
Chiefs
a
fan.
Chiefs fan.
Okay.
Patty Mahomes. We went to the Chiefs Patriots game at Gillette. Uh,
Go Panthers.
who do, yeah, go Panthers. Who do you got in the other than the Panthers? Who do you got in the Super Bowl?
I mean, it's hard. I mean,
Do you even care? Do you even watch it? You'll watch
oh,
it.
I'll watch it. Yeah, for sure. I'll watch it. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to bet against Patty Mahomes for sure. But I would like to see the 49ers win. I would like to see Brock Purdy win.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy would be an unbelievable story.
It's interesting. Like you see a lot of commentary on like I forget who it was on ESPN analysts was talking about like he's not a great player, and they were like discussing of why that was, and the people like you're crazy, and it's like well he has more assets around him, which is true. Yeah, he's not as athletic as say Patrick Mahomes is, but just that doesn't make you. I mean, the guy's record speaks for itself, right? He's performed. Yes, he has players, but he also has to deliver the ball to them and manage those situations. So it'd be cool to see him come out and get that first one. And I mean, he's had an interesting ride the past 2 years. So I mean, Patrick, he's had his fair share, and he'll have some more, I'm sure. But again, it's hard to root against Patrick because he delivers.
Well, the Chiefs look like crap for most of the season,
Right.
and then they kind of flip the switch in the playoffs, which has been kind of fun to watch.
It's the Taylor Swift effect, right?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It is cool.
Taylor Swift's one of the great
people give
musicians of
I mean,
all time.
You can hate her all you want to, but hey, she's better. She's a better business person, marketer than any of us are. So
I wish she was flying back from Japan.
Yeah, right.
For the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you had the
must be nice.
If you had the ability to do it too, you do it too, probably.
I don't know that, but
yeah.
I mean,
I'd be able to just hey, I can go to Japan to
yeah.
hey, why not? I got my own jet.
Yeah, of course. So that's what we have going on. This is Golf News Rather podcast. That's Michael Edwards of Shore Golf Performance. Where can I get one of these nice quarter zips?
Just let me know. Just let me know. Just let me know.
Carolina blue.
There's a reason behind the color.
Absolutely. So thanks so much for doing this. Thanks so much for coming all the way to Kirkbride to do this.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I have a crazy day, so so that's why we're kind of crunched. But thanks so much for coming on. We'll have you on again, and stay tuned for a potential new video series coming up between GolfNewsRI and Shore Golf. We're talking about it in about half an hour, so we'll let you know what happens. But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And stay tuned to golfnewsri.com for full coverage of Davis Chatfield and Patrick Welch's rounds on the Korn Ferry Tour. And of course, we have the PGA Tour as well, the Waste Management Phoenix Open in the Epic Stadium hole.
Might be some beer cans being thrown around this weekend.
Yeah, it'd be something thrown around this weekend. So anyway, thanks everybody. We'll talk to you next time on golfnewsri.com.